Hello and welcome to Project GTI. Today we're going to be changing a full set of ignition coils and spark plugs. It's a pretty easy job to do, and on this car anyway, all you need is a decent socket set. We've also got the coils themselves and the plugs obviously. We're also using some disposable gloves and a single glove, and we'll come back to why we need that in a second. Our first job is to disconnect the battery. You want to disconnect the negative terminal . Now we're going to take the glove, and to stop the terminal shorting out or causing any sparks, we're going to use our single glove so that it's completely covered. Next we've got to take the engine cover off because the plugs and coils are underneath here. Disconnect the electrical connection for the airflow meter. Then you can remove the cover. Now these are the coils on top of the engine, and we need to just detach this wiring harness here. Once you have all the clips undone, the harness should slide backwards. Just gently remove that and move that back out of the way. There's no need to number the coils or the harnesses or anything because you can't get them mixed up. Now the coils should just pull out. Now they can be quite tight, so you need to kind of give them a bit of a wiggle, and if they still don't come out, just get a screwdriver and gently underneath the top ridge here to avoid doing any damage, ever so gently just apply a bit of upward pressure, and they should slowly start to come out. There should be no real major force required here. There we go. There's our old ignition coil. Now take the old coil and the new one, compare them side by side to make sure that they match up. You might see some differences in, slight differences in the design, but once the dimensions are the same, the pins are the same, and the overall shape is the same, you should be fine. Next we need to remove the spark plug, and it's buried deep inside the cylinder head down here. So to get the spark plug out, you're going to need a special spark plug socket like this one. I don't know if you can see, but the socket has like a rubber insert into it which grips onto the spark plug, and when you have the plug undone, it kind of pulls the plug out with the socket as well. You're going to need a long extension as well, obviously, to get down into the cylinder head. So here we have our old plug. Doesn't look in too bad condition, but we'll change them anyway. Again, compare the new and the old plugs side by side, make sure everything matches up. Threads are the same, length is the same, overall dimensions match. It's worthwhile hanging on to your old plugs just in case there are any issues with the new ones. And what's really important when you're putting the new plugs in is to make sure that they're seated correctly. There should be literally no resistance when the plug goes into the cylinder head. If there is any resistance, you probably have it cross-threaded and you need to just take it back out straight away. It should go in by hand like this. Now the other thing that's really important when fitting new spark plugs is the torque setting. A lot of engines these days have aluminium cylinder heads, and it can be very, very easy to crack the head by over tightening the spark plug. So check the torque settings for your car, use a torque wrench and only tighten them to that setting. So we're going to replace one plug at a time and put the new coils back in so that there's less chance of any debris or muck getting down into the cylinder bores. You just push that down until it seats. Now it's just a case of repeating the process for the remaining 3 plugs and coil packs. Now with all 4 plugs and coils replaced, we can just carefully reconnect the wiring harness. Make sure everything lines up. Try and get it on as square as possible. You should hear a little click when it's into position. Give it a pull back the other way. Yep, that's on okay. Now we can replace the engine cover and connect back all our pipe work. Lastly, reconnect the battery, just taking care not to touch off any of the bodywork. Now we can start the engine and make sure that everything's okay. It should fire up straight away. Excellent, so that seemed okay. Obviously we'll take the car for a proper drive, give it a proper test run and make sure everything's 100% before we sign off on it. One thing worth mentioning though is that once you have disconnected the battery, you might get certain lights coming on the dashboard. On this car, the electronic power steering light comes on, but it should go out after just a few miles, so don't worry about that. So that's it, thanks very much for watching. To keep up to date on the progress with Project GTI, you can check out our YouTube channel and find the Project GTI playlist. Also check out our blog at blog.mixedgarage.com.